Hello there, and welcome back to the Aztecs. We are currently, well, at war with England, or more precisely, they declared war on us at the end of the last session, mostly due to the fact that, well, I ended up in a kind of a pity because I took too much land, and now I'm made to pay for it. So, what we'll have to do here, I guess, is rely completely on a mercenary army, which should be well, it could be fairly bad, but potentially we could actually make some gains from this. But unfortunately, Pen and Cog actually fell here, and that allows me to do this. Accept demands, and I will not be starting the recoring of this province, simply because there's no reason to. I need to deal with the English before we can do anything else, and without the French here to help me out, this war can last about a decade, so I'll have a decade more of this shit, more or less, and also, I can't actually continue coring provinces during that time, so I'll have some, well, severe problems potentially here, but we'll also do a couple of other things while we're at it. We will try and hurt, well, we'll really be trying to hurt Spain here. We'll embargo them, we'll do the same with England, of course. And potentially that should be enough to, well, it could potentially screw them over fairly well. Because, well, less money for them, more for us. But we'll have to see how this works out. For now, we'll just try and hold our ground and see if we can get a white peace or concede defeat or something. We'll simply have to wait here because, well, due to the fact that these coups won't actually continue during the war, we might actually be in more trouble than I initially thought. But we'll have to wait and see. I've also fired these two. Or fire the admin one, because I have the admin points that I need. But for now, what we really need to start doing here is take these, take and siege these colonies, and potentially also this one. Apparently England has actually been able to core that one, but even so, it's kind of ridiculous the fact that they can core a province that they don't actually have access to this one. It really should be set up as a, how should I put this? Basically completely embargoed or completely surrounded or something like that. But since it isn't, we'll simply have to fight with mercenaries. We actually have a 40k mercenary army that we can keep going, which is pretty good, to be honest. So we'll use that for sieging purposes, and we'll basically just be trying here to well, wait for England to get the troops here so that we can defeat them. And hopefully get ourselves some war score through that, because I'm pretty sure we won't be getting too much war score from battles here. So we'll simply have to try and siege these things actually rather quickly, and otherwise just try and screw over England as well as we can. We'll simply have to do the best we can and see how things work out. But for the time being, not really that much else to do rather than fighting and kicking rebels. Well, kicking down rebels once they actually start causing trouble. We'll see how it goes. We did win a small battle here against the English, 34,000 versus 14, giving us a little bit more war score. But yeah, things are not looking good even with that victory, because, well, we still have some English rebels that needs to be dealt with, and a couple of other problems. But at the very least now, I think I'll actually allow that English army that's currently retreating now to, I'll allow it to reinforce for the pure purpose of, well, growing it back up. Counter-Reformation ends, so I'm getting a little bit of... the Counter-Reformation serves its purpose, but the era of religious strife in Europe is coming to an end. Well, it's far from coming to an end in the Americas, so that's good to know. Of course, we have some rebels that popped up in the province that I went into, but of course it got killed. So, my current choices here are Palace Coup. Father, he says, his ward pointing at you, your rulers brought this age to the brink of destruction and shame to our family. He looks nervously at his co-conspirators, and otherworldly sense of fatigue washes over you. Betrayal in your own midst. I feel so old, so I can choose between dying or killing my spoiled little runt. To be honest, the spoiled little runt is 1 point better if you take pure stats, but military-wise it sucks. Military is what I really need, so the spoiled little runt dies. And unfortunately, I don't have any heir. Aztec peasants, so the heretics and everything have once again been successful. This started to get routine actually, just doing this. I will of course stay at minus 100 prestige and probably minus 3 stability for a while too. But let's face it, it doesn't really matter, or those two stats doesn't really matter, because, well, I do have my troops, so I can keep things in check for the time being. All that I'm currently focusing on is England and England only. But let's face it, this is a 46,000 man mercenary army. It should be able to deal with most of my problems. Apparently not these rebels, because, well, Ernest York, 2 and 5 general. And of course we have some English patriots in Moose Cree that I'll have to fight through, or find my way through before getting to the English. But if I were to retreat now, how far will they run? They'll just run there. That's good, because, well, the positive thing here is that they reinforce with quite a lot of troops every month here. As you can see, 5,000. So I don't actually have any fuss or problems with just leaving things to them. But this war should end pretty soon here. I'm pretty sure that, yeah, we're just 5 points away. So just dragging out a little while longer should be enough to make peace here. And then we'll start getting calls going for us as well. And with that, we should be able to make things happen here. But I need to get these guys off Manhattan, because Manhattan is one of the, I believe it's worth 26%. So I seriously need to get them away from there ASAP. And I think I will be able to Sconian? Oh, Sicilian. My bad. I was started to wonder if delicious food had risen up in my provinces here. But yeah, we are getting rid of some of the rebels, and due to the fact that we can simply wait this out, I'm pretty sure that we won't actually have to wait too much longer. One more point or a couple more months, and this war is done. Then we can just relax, allow our manpower to replenish. We'll simply use money to keep rebels in check. So to some extent, you can actually solve things with money, but once again, not something that I really advise, I guess I should say here, because, well, it will hurt, and it will hurt pretty damn bad. So don't go over extension limits. I've learned that now, I guess, for the second time. But I honestly didn't think that this would hit as hard as it did, and my bad, I guess. But I'll have to figure out a way to deal with those 15,000 men once we actually make peace here. So there we go. The English have, or I have conceded defeat against the English. Not really. Let's be honest here, there weren't really another way for me to get out of this without getting myself screwed a little bit too much. But at the very least now I can probably get there first and potentially take them on the defense here. But of course the English patriots took Moose Cree, so we'll just do the very simple thing here and give up again. As you can see here, I only give local autonomy to this one, and it already has it, so accepting this doesn't actually pose any threats to me. Apparently I should have waited until these guys were in my lands. But once again, they are attacking me, so I will get the benefit of the defense here. I'll also reduce inflation to, well, try and get myself some more money, because it is necessary. It's very much necessary. And hopefully we'll actually win this battle, because it looked for a second there like we were going to lose. So once again, we'll just keep on fighting and see how things turn out. I think I'll simply continue on the defensive ideas first, and then we'll go over to quality ideas afterwards. We'll take Engineer Corps, which gives an extra leader siege bonus +1. Will help a little bit further down the line, not exactly right now. But at least we are getting ideas, and as such also by default power. But for now we'll allow the coring here, or the coring of some provinces, to simply continue. Like a Timothy question. Unfortunately I don't actually have an heir, so that doesn't make too much sense. Let's just leave it at that. But yeah, I want my heir dead right now. I prefer the other one. I should have chosen the other one. Week 150. Well, we are basically set here for another Regency Council, I think. It looks like it at the very least. So things are not looking good. We'll simply have to wait and see. But as I said, I'll try to get the course done, and then we'll see if we can, to some extent, get ourselves back into a positive way of, well, getting things done, more or less. I have no idea how we're going to actually make this work. We'll simply have to wait and see. With the coring of Manhattan soon to come up, we should be basically over in a much safer area. As you can see here, we have a national revolt risk now of, well, we are below 100% now overextension. We will soon get this one. We'll also soon get this one. 3 years now, we will be in safe areas. Then we might actually start considering another war in England, another war potentially on Spain down the line. But for now, we'll try and get ourselves back with an alliance with the French. We need to rebuild our army. We'll probably also try and get ourselves in an alliance with the Scottish for now. Potentially, I might even try to forcefully vassalize them. I'll have to consider that. It should be possible. 4, 6, 7. 11. Well, they're below 20, so I think it's... But no, it's probably not possible. I might actually have England to try and eat them. But for now, I guess we'll try and get ourselves over to England itself, and then we'll simply have to actually call this thing ourselves if we can't actually make Scotland work for us. We also, of course, have to deal with Spain. They do have Lisbon, Madrid, but we can, of course, use Aragon and Portugal to our advantage here. So I should probably start focusing on Spain rather than anything else, because, well, we are in good waters again, but it'll probably be another decade before my nation has actually gotten itself back on its feet, as it were, because, well, of course, this hurts. It hurts a lot, and it will probably hurt a lot for a lot of time to come too. We do have got a new idea though, a regimental system in the defensive ideas. Land maintenance modifier minus 10% should help out a little bit with my economy right now. Also peasant levy, get a little bit extra manpower, 5%, can't complain about that. But as you might imagine right now, how are we doing troop wise? As you can see, 2/3 of my troops are actually mercenaries that are basically here for the pure purpose of defending myself against the well, English rebels. But of course, the Spaniards have other things to undermine. War. How many troops do they have? Well, a lot more than I do. So I think I might actually have to fire this guy again. Basically for the purpose of trying to get my hands on, well, some more, not actually rebels, but rather trying to get myself some more mercenaries to fight the Spaniards. They have level 21. They have actually speed ahead by quite a lot. But even so, they don't have that much or that many more advantages than us. So I guess I'll aim at marching these guys down to... No, I'll actually keep them in the area. We'll have the Spanish come to us. No real reason not to. And hopefully we can win this. Show superiority, so it's battle that actually counts. So if I can just have them come to me and fight battles on my terms, then we might actually be able to pull this off. But once again, the Spanish have a lot of troops, and as far as I know, they do have a lot of troops in this area. So I might actually have to consider, or we'll probably have to give up some more Incan lands here, which of course will suck. But there's nothing to do with that. It's simply how things have turned out. We'll probably also try to focus on diplomacy here, power or diplomatic ideas rather than anything here. But I definitely screwed up bad in the war against England, and that is probably what will, to some extent, it seems like that right now has ruined this playthrough, because it'll probably take me about 14 more years before I can get into Europe, and then I have 120 years to take the capital of France and the capital of Spain. Both of them will give me insane amounts of overextension, so I definitely have to use Portugal and Aragon, and hopefully some French miners too if they still exist, but that is of course a long shot. So we'll have to see how that actually ends up turning out for us. But for now, we'll just keep on getting overextension down, try and get stability up a little bit. But of course, we'll probably lose it straight away. But hopefully, I get it up to +1, and that should probably stop most of the rebels, and that should most likely get us back on track here. So we'll just deal with the rebels, we'll deal with the Spanish, and then we'll see what happens. I'll probably show you I can almost bet that it'll just be one battle. So we'll wait for that and see how it turns out. We are lucky here, we get a positive event with a traveling minister. Of course, this is also kind of interesting, the fact that there's a 1,000-man unit here of... why can't I hire mercenaries here? In your own, not overseas. So basically, is this an overseas province? I guess it's counted as overseas because the Spaniards are actually blockading it, but if that's the case, then why the hell ain't that English province actually the same then? Well, that's actually quite bad, but if we are lucky, I think I can actually kill this off. That's an artillery unit, so it should die to just your regular run-of-the-mill unit, and as such I will get a running war score for simply crushing a fairly simple unit here. It should actually lose, but if it doesn't, then I would be very surprised, because yeah, of course we lost. Who would actually think otherwise? Artillery versus regular troops loss, and of course now I can't actually disband this thing before it actually causes me more trouble. But as you can see, there's a huge Spanish army here, 33,000 men marching upward or up through my lands. Ground shipyard and a road network. We'll probably start hiring as soon as they start getting close to this army, but until then we'll just sit by and allow, well, fate to decide. They will of course siege a lot of provinces, will be of course be quite obnoxious, but there's nothing we really can do with that for the time being. I have a lot of cores still under construction. We are actually in, well, kind of a positive overextension mode, or overextension country right now. We are also very close to getting our, well, next level here boosted up. So we aren't actually doing too bad right now. The problem now will actually be to try and beat the Spanish, so I might actually have to give up this area here. And of course the Incan cores have already been lost, so that sucks. Kind of weird actually that they disappear, especially when you consider the fact that this one says they shouldn't until 1837. But apparently the bug with the native cores, or the American natives cores disappearing, is still around, so that's kind of annoying. But yeah, we'll probably have to deal with Spain further down the line. It's kind of annoying that they actually got as powerful as they are. Of course, England. My mess up against England is mostly due to, or half the reason why. If we can get an alliance again with France, then we could potentially use that once again to our advantage here. So we'll have to try and get ourselves going with France and eat Spain with their help. Same with England here. Scotland will probably be our assistant in that. The fact that Austria has this one, Tuscany has this one is kind of good. That means there are just 3 capitals now: Ile-de-France, London, and Madrid. But even that could definitely be taking a little bit more time than I would appreciate. So we'll have to fight the war against the Spaniards next time. We are definitely in a bad spot, and that is only my fault. I can't blame anything or anyone else than me. I should have remembered how bad overextension really is, but I haven't actually dealt that much with it due to the fact that I rarely actually break that limit, because subconsciously I assume that it's bad. But in this case, I haven't actually played a country with, well, I guess I should have really asked colonies, would screw me over, but it's my bad. I simply got greedy and I got kicked in the nuts for it, as I said. So we'll simply have to deal with this next time. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment, praise, criticism, anything you feel like, and I'll see you around next time. Bye.